I get what he's saying that, because think about it. You got Antonio Brown. It was like August when you got him. But you're going to need somebody who's really disgruntled and wants out of, at that time, wants out of that organization. I think the best time is between now and right before the draft because teams will be more likely to move guys because they can get draft capital to use it for this upcoming season. So it will be interesting to see.
Cooper Kupp may not be an option for you. Adam Schefter reporting that the Cowboys are very interested and would like to remove him as an option for any other team. So,
do you feel like he
Greg?
is?
Yeah. I would like to just use Rob on a golf course for a second because he had the line of the day in Twitch.
Yeah.
Goober Kupp.
Do you feel like Cooper Kupp is an option, though? Because he's a free agent right now, right? If you really wanted him, why wouldn't you give him an offer? Why would you let him?
Why wouldn't you have given him a significant amount of money?
Yeah,
and he would already be a New England Patriot.
Right.
I don't. There's some speculation that he wanted to stay on the West Coast, but
why not throw him an offer and see, you were willing to do it with Chris Godwin. At least that's what the reports were. So if you really wanted Cooper Kupp, why would you allow him to potentially go visit other places, have other offers being thrown at him?
Well, when Mike Vrabel says, references the draft and the opportunity there,
right?
Does that say to you that they are now leaning less toward Travis Hunter at number 4 if he's available than they were last week, if you believe that they were last week? I mean,
I think with the addition of Carlton Davis,
they're
you.
not leaning toward him
right
anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And I would say also, Greg, and Wiggy is spot on with this. If you want him, he's here. Shime said it, and he was right. They could have used a 7th-round pick that obviously is irrelevant and got him in and then restructured his deal like teams do. Or they could sign him because we saw they were going full bore. They were the leading bidder in terms of financial offer for Godwin. We all believe, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And he was a much higher ticket item in terms of the free agency dollars that Godwin got versus what Cooper Kupp will get right now. So if you wanted him, he'd be here. Why wouldn't you? Everything you're going to do in the draft becomes easier the more guys you get in before it begins. You get leverage. You can trade picks back. Patriots and Belichick famously did that well for years in terms of trading 1 first-round pick for 2. I just don't understand what the downside is to bringing in Cooper Kupp right now.
And if you had this earlier, Greg, and you were seeing that Cooper Kupp wants like $12 million a year, you were willing to give Chris Godwin $30 million a year. So why not just say, hey, Cooper, here's what we're going to do. We'll give you 2 years. We'll give you $35 million. We'll throw in like a $20 million signing bonus. So that averages out to what, like $16.5 million? Or you could say we'll give you 2 years of $30 million. That's like $15 million per year. He wants 12. You give him $20 million as a signing bonus. You could easily do that. That's why I wonder, how bad do you want this guy? Because if you're willing to let him go out there and test the market, there's a chance you could lose him to somebody else.
And Greg, what's the one position they haven't been able to draft in the last 25 years?
Wide receiver.
So why are we telling some of the same people, the guy that took Tyquan Thornton, why are we having those people here to pick a receiver instead of signing one that can already play?
And would you use the number 4 overall pick? Shime's the mock draft expert, but would you use the 4 overall pick on Tetairoa McMillan, the kid from Arizona, wide receiver?
If Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are gone, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But you would still take
I already see the billboard, Greg. Tetairoa McMillan, because he's not N'Keal Harry.
You would still take Travis Hunter.
No, I don't want Travis Hunter, but they would. Mike Vrabel would. If Travis Hunter's at 4, they'll take him. I would almost guarantee.
So you're going
What makes you say that? Just the...
I just think the way he has spoken about him before, I think the way the league views Travis Hunter, he is as they say, a football playing Jesse. Like, the guy just wants to go out and play ball, and he plays on every snap on both sides of the ball, and I think coaches eat that crap up.
Yeah, but he's not going to do that in the NFL, so you would have 3 corners going into camp. One guy you're paying...
Unless they focused him at receiver. Like, that's the thing. Like, knowing you have Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez, maybe their line of thinking is they put him at receiver first.
They're going to draft him at number 4 and put him at wide receiver?
I think it's an option. Like, it has to be weighed, right? Like, that has to be considered.
But
he
no
can
one,
do both.
No one
so it has
out
to be
there
considered.
has him playing. No one out there has any teams looking at him as a wide receiver.
Correct. But the people out there doing that, Wiggy, are nerds and idiots like me. So NFL teams could very much have a different view of it, where they we just have to put him at 1. We can choose which one, but we just have to put him at 1 to start.
Vrabel does love him as a player. I mean, he's made that clear.
Yeah.
I think
he said it on NFL Network.
I think he loves his talent.
Yeah.
Because if you went out and got Carlton Davis, you already have Christian Gonzalez. If you're getting Travis Hunter, then that tells me you believe you can move him to full-time wide receiver. Because you're not getting him and adding him as your starting quarterback that you're going to play 10% at wide receiver.
But Greg, this team is still building itself like it's really good. Like you don't have the luxury of building up specifically on one position of your roster. There are holes now. Well, I guess if you think Brown's the center, not at center, but at guard, left tackle, number 1 receiver. Is there a number 2 receiver on this team?
No. Who's the number 1?
Okay, so you need a number 1, a number 2
right.
receiver. You need a left tackle, you need a guard, you need a right tackle. Or if Moses is your right tackle, you need a left tackle and a guard and maybe another center.
Yeah, but you definitely need a receiver. Listen, you sit my 6 degrees. I played with Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey played both ways on offense and defense. Travis Hunter is going to be a cornerback in the NFL that teams will utilize his ability, similar to what we saw at Deion Sanders, Charles Woodson. He's a gadget player.
He's a gadget guy.
Yeah.
What do you say in the Twitch chat? Boomer 1165 says all of the sudden Travis Hunter can't play wide receiver, Wiggy?
No, not 50% of the time or 100% of the time, unless that's the position he's going to play. Ty Law, we had Ty on, Ty, great corner. He'll tell you, they try to move him to offense. You don't get enough practice over there to be able to be a solid receiver. You could be a gadget player because you're running slants and go routes or reverses.
Does Mike Vrabel maybe believe he can turn him into he's going to draft him at 4 with the expectation that he's going to be a full-time wide receiver in the NFL?
That you could do if you're saying, hey, Travis, we're drafting you at number 4, but you're playing wide receiber.
Greg, if he could legitimately be a number 1 receiver in the NFL, he'd be the number 1 pick in the draft.
That's a good point.
If he was legit that player, he would be the number 1 pick, and he's not.
I don't think that's true. Like, Abdul Carter is just a better football player, and it's a more important position. And as you've aptly pointed out multiple times, quarterbacks always go up. And Cam Ward is, without a doubt, the best quarterback in the draft, so he probably will go number 1 overall.
If he could be a shutdown corner and a number 1 receiver, he would be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. If you knew for a fact he was going to be like a Hall of Fame level at both positions, sure. But you don't know that.
But that's not happening.
But was he saying at the Combine, that were there reports that he was telling teams he wanted to play wide receiver?
He wants to do both. Like, he wants to do exactly what he did in college, which is do both. And Deion Sanders was the only guy in college that was going to allow him to do that, which is why he played for him.
And every NFL team knows that you can't do both. That's why they're saying he's going to be a corner, because that's his natural position. That's where he has better skill at, is a corner. Is he a great athlete that you can throw jump balls to and go routes at the college level? Yes. But in the NFL level, that's not going to work against guys who go against elite wide receivers on a daily basis.
This is Tim from Hanover. Hey, Tim.
Guys, I love the conversation, man. But you know what? Hunter is the guy. He is unbelievable. He's a great athlete. He's good at both ways to play. And I know Vrabel wants him badly because he is an unbelievable athlete. Here's the deal with this kid. Look at Branch. Deion Branch played both ways when he had to. Same with Edelman. When he had these receivers, the receivers played defense for Belichick when they had to.
Defense.
Yeah.
They didn't play
Troy Brown.
No, but they in clutch
Deion Branch didn't play defense.
No, it's Troy Brown.
Yeah,
Troy Brown.
Well, one of them. I forget who. Troy Brown. Yeah. There you go. It's been a while, so my mind is like a little bit off, and I get pressured when I call in you boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So there you go. But I think if they get him and go forward with this in the draft, and then maybe they can get what's his name, Cooper Kupp, as an unbelievable slot and middle receiver. That would be over the top and put him in great shape.
See, but the difference between like Edelman and Troy Brown, they were just like break glass in case of emergency defensive backs.
Yeah.
They weren't every down or two down type of players where a lot of people, and I think this is the problem, a lot of people saw Travis Hunter play in college and saw him play basically every snap on offense and every snap on defense and think that, oh, he can do that in the NFL. If Deion Sanders, who's arguably one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever step on the field, couldn't do it, Charles Woodson couldn't do it, Champ Bailey couldn't do it, what makes you think Travis Hunter's going to be able to do it? Those are three Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
I wouldn't think that he's going to be 50% offense, 50% defense. I could see somebody like Mike Vrabel saying, I am this guy, maybe they've had a conversation. He wants to play wide receiver, and we can make him a wide receiver. He did it in college. He can do it in the NFL, and they draft him for that reason and that position.
Well, I understand what you're saying. As long as you say, and are they going to say that, like, we're drafting Travis Hunter to play wide receiver? Well, why wouldn't other teams do that when wide receiver is more valuable than corner in the NFL? So why wouldn't other teams go, hey, Travis, do you mind playing wide receiver full time? Yeah. And if he goes, yeah, they go, we'll take him.